Hello, good evening, viewers. This is Satellite Media. Let us look at this statement that is coming from the man Asari Dukobo, drumming support and strategizing, bringing out strategies on how to checkmate the excesses of the Fulani Herdsmen. Of course, surprisingly, he is even advocating for the liberation and protection of the Igbo race. Listen to him. We'll come back to continue this conversation.
Something seriously is happening. Something very serious is happening. And our so-called political elites and leaders do not care. They're not doing anything about it. They feel very unconcerned about it. Our political elites do not care about it. Our people are left rudderless, tossed here and there by the tempests and the winds of the sea. Nobody cares. Every day we hear stories of thousands and thousands of Futajelong Kambari Fulani being transported by every means of transportation down into our land, down into the John Nation, down into Igbo land, down into Shekiri land, down into Ogoni land, every day, in the most unthinkable factions, in their thousands. If you go to Bayelsa today, as I'm talking, all the fishing settlements and the farming villages are occupied and controlled by these fellows. We are job people, we are strong. Nothing is going to happen. A man is only strong when he's with his people, when he has enough number to overcome his enemy. We should not underestimate these people. They have our money with us. They have been receiving tons and tons of our money. Their brother Abacha stole and sharing it amongst themselves. A minister in a federation came to say that sharing the money in the north because there are no poor people in the south. And where are our governors? Where are our local ministers? Where are our women rights ministers? Where are our women rights lawyers? All of them, they close their mouth. But this is more sinister. This is more sinister. They are coming here. They are changing the demography. What are they coming for? You remember Osman Danfodio? How they came to Sokoto, to Gobiri, to Kano, to Katsina, to be there. And what happened? They replaced the Abe rulers. They replaced the original people and took over the realms of power. They are coming. History is going to repeat itself if we don't act now. They are coming. History is going to repeat itself if we don't act now. They are not pretending about it. They are coming with war, destruction and death. They are coming to occupy our land. Why you cannot go to your community? In Obama, how many Obama people are at home? They are leaving their home and they are coming here. Obama is a village. You cannot come to Obama. Those of us who live in Obama, we are backward people. When the evil and the tribulation will come, it will not come for only Dr. Asari, it will come for all of us. I'm smarter than you. I know that I'm more prepared than you. And when it comes, I will also run faster than you. To be forewarned is to be forehand. It's not grandstanding like Wiki. I caught 14 people grandstanding. This is beyond grandstanding. This is a time for strategy. This is a time for consultation. This is a time for meeting. Our very survival is at stake. We must stand up and defend ourselves, or we will all perish in the hands of these blood.
Just like some people will always say, they say, take the message and lead the messenger. I think that best explains the situation. You may not like the face of Asari Dukobo, I agree with you, but I think the point he's making here is very, very potent. To the extent that if you look at insecurity in Nigeria, it cuts across every strata of the society. It cuts across every region of the society that is of Nigeria. You may call it North Central, Northeast, Northwest, South-South, Southwest, Southeast. Their activities, their excesses is in everywhere. Talking about the bandits. And the bandits have been traced to the Fulani. It doesn't matter how you look at it. Even the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, talking about Muhammadu Buhari, acknowledged it the other time that the people who wreak havoc are those who move around from country to country, from Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, and these are normal Fulani men. So the point here is, as a people, as a country, there is need for security of lives and property. We understand that this is a responsibility that is incumbent on the government, going by the concern of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, because Section 14 of that Constitution as amended is very clear that the welfare of Nigerians and their security shall be the primary purpose of governance. But currently, the current security architecture seems to be weak in addressing this emerging challenge. So it is on that basis Nigerians have been yearning for a rethinking of security architecture, particularly the area of allowing the governors, who of course goes by the name of the governor and the chief security officer of their respective states, allowing them to parade some level of security power. Because it is not proper that somebody goes by the name of the governor and chief security officer of his state, but it doesn't parade any security power. We have seen in the past when a Joshua Darie of Plateau State will say he did not command the fly, even as the governor of the state. We have equally seen in the past when as a governor of Rivers State, talking about Yese Wike, why he was addressed as the governor and chief security officer of the state, he said no, that is just the logistic officer of the state. The point I'm trying to make here is, since the security architecture currently is not working, there's every need to reject it. And we have seen in the recent past where regions, states will try to come up with some security arrangements to address the emerging challenge. We have seen in the southwestern part of the country, the current Amateku, we understand that their predicament is their predicament has to do with not having the level of arm they needed to combat crime. And don't forget that under the last administration of Muhammadu Buhari, all efforts to make federal government see reason why Amateku should be armed fell on deaf ear. Even the then governor of Ondo State, talking about Akeredolu, of course, who we knew he fought vehemently for the establishment of Amateku and to give them capacity, even challenge the then president, challenge the then president Muhammadu Buhari, that if civilian JTF in the north could be armed, why should an agency of government, a paramilitary organization of government, established by House of Assembly in their respective states, be deprived of bearing arms? We understand that it is the Office of National Security Advisor that gives end user certificate, that empowers all these arms procurements. But the point here is, hence, Buhari is no longer there. We understand the point, or rather the reason the Buhari government will not allow the security arrangement at that level to be armed, perhaps because the people who have been accused of perpetrating this crime are from his ethnic extraction. But now that another person is there talking about Iturubu, I think he should do it differently. Though we have seen in the recent past when, or rather where the leader of Ller, talking about Toji Bello, will be accused of banditry. And for the first time in the history of Nigeria, we are seeing the government, through the military, arresting Bodejo. And not pronouncing him guilty, and not saying he's guilty. Of course, we understand that one is innocent until proven otherwise by a court of competent jurisdiction. But for the first time in the history of Nigeria, we are seeing the government questioning allegation of banditry against Bodejo. So to that extent, if we understand that currently the government has since secured a court order to keep him for 2 months to enable them complete investigation. So if he is eventually charged to court, he'll have his day in court, the government will have their day in court, and the court will actually give judgment whether he's guilty or not. But the point we're making here is nobody should be above the law. Nobody should have preferential treatment. And the issue of security of life and property is paramount, because the constitution is very clear about what shall constitute the primary purpose of governance. It says the welfare of the people and their security. I think section 14 of 1999 constitution as amended says that. So if that is true and Nigerians are facing an existential threat, we are seeing wanton loss of lives and property as a result of insecurity, it makes sense for the government to allow all the security arrangement at the state level to be armed, to be under supervision of some constituted responsible authorities. So the fear of government, federal government, that if they allow Amateku, for instance, to be armed, that it will lead to disintegration, because we understand that the eastern part of the country already have a similar arrangement, though they are not as effective as we have in the southwest. Talking about Igbo, even in Anambra currently, we understand they have argument chamber, but currently the argument is before they can be effective enough, before they can have that capacity to combat the crime, they must be allowed to bear arms to the extent that they will be able to confront this marauding Fulani herdsmen. Because if you look at even in Delta State, their SSS is even extended to Delta State. We understand that a place that I built recently, they killed about 2 persons recently. That angered the youth. Of course, I understand that they touched the settlement of the Fulani in that state. We equally saw what transpired in Ebonyi recently, where they killed about 16 persons. And we understand that the governor admonished the people not to go for reprisal attack. Of course, that is responsible and that is expected of a state government. But beyond advising the people not to go for a reprisal attack, I think the governor needs to synergize with federal governments to build capacity of any security arrangement, or to put pressure on the federal government in synergy with other state governors to rejig the security architecture. We have been yearning for state policing, but if that is not yet coming, the level of security arrangement at the state levels, like we have in the Southwest, talking about Amateku, should be replicated in all the states of the Federation. And in synergy with federal government, with the Office of the National Security Advisor, they should build capacity of those security arrangements in order to be able to combat crime that we are seeing that is emerging in the society. Because before you can see any meaningful development in any society, you must guarantee the safety of life and property. Even if you are going outside the country to woo investors, before they will come, they must make sure, they will be sure that the investment they are bringing in, the money they are bringing in, the personnel, the expatriates that is coming in, we have their lives and property guaranteed, protected. Otherwise, nobody will want to bring his money, his investment into an environment of insecurity where the protection of lives and property is questionable. So currently, I think the president and the presidency, the governors should look for a way to synergize to address this issue of insecurity. If you look at the data that came out the other day, I think from the NBC, is MBC and MBS, it shows that a good number of Nigerians have been kidnapped under a given period of time. And the ransom paid, I think, is about 3.7 trillion. Of course, it speaks volume of the level of insecurity in the country. We've always seen a situation where high-profile persons will be abducted by bandits, criminals, and that tells you, gives you a sense of what the ordinary man, the common man, is passing in the hands of all these marauding headers and all that criminal elements that the government will always want to call them, particularly the military, ragtags, and non-state actors. However, I look at it as a government, whether at the state level, at the local government level, at the federal level, you must possess monopoly of coercive power. That is what makes it ultimate. Otherwise, we will continue living with the consequence of not building that capacity. Thank you very much. This is Sadlam.